All right. This is real short and sweet, just to kind of get things started. Why do you want to do film review? It's the best tool to improve your performance. I think if coaches got together and one of them said, I don't bother look film and my players don't either. We know how good we are, so we don't worry about it. I think the other coaches would think he's a knucklehead. And secondly, the excuse that it's hard to get film, that's been gone for quite some time. We all know there are schools that don't like to send it to us, but still Huddle gives us a higher percentage of film to look at than any of the old ways we had to use. Not to do film review, film's not available. That was a good excuse prior to the VCR. It's not such a great excuse anymore. The other reason not to do film review is if you're already perfect, and we all know that that's not true. So the to-dos for film review: if you had a controversial play that you were losing sleep over, the coaches went wild, everything else, you want to look at those first. That's what most of us are going to do anyway, right? See if we got it right. Look for plays as you're going through them that they kind of catch your eye because really good mechanics on a tough play or possibly not so good mechanics. Look for plays that are tough for anybody to cover or that expose coverage problem. Those are plays to talk about. How can we handle that better? And then I usually asked, and I bet Royce does too for college, I was asked the guys to review all the plays they call fouls on just to see if they still loved their calls. So if you can find them, review them, decide whether you still love the call or not. Excuse me. Don't do's. Don't look for validation of all your calls while ignoring the mechanics. In other words, all you care about is whether you got it right, but you want to get right for the right reason. I used to do this. I would look at plays, and if we had nobody within 10 yards of the goal line, but miraculously called the pylon play right, then we were good. I didn't even consider whether we should talk about mechanics. Don't find dozens of calls that you missed. Royce probably remembers this. I'd find 17 or 18. Gee, did we miss a hold here? That's not really helpful. You're not going to improve your game by finding 30 fouls. Okay, that's it for the PowerPoint. Now, I warned just a second here. Sharing, right? Oh, okay. I need to share again. Let me get to the meeting. All right. Are you guys seeing a game film?
Black screen so far. There it is. We got it.
There we go. Yep, it's there, Mike.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I warned Tristan Severson that I'd be throwing him under the bus, but he trusted me enough not to join, I guess. This is what I did for their crew last year. I think for most of you guys, I went through the film, and I'm just going to show how I look at it, and just if any one of us, if the 5-6 of us that are on the call sat down with a game film and picked out plays, am I breaking up again? I'm getting this internet connection is unstable message. You guys getting me okay?
You're coming through pretty good for me, Mike.
Yeah, for the most part, it's fine. It's better than it was when we started.
Yep.
Okay.
Same here.
I look at what catches my eye as I'm going through. And the good thing about this film is it's at Zumbrota, and for whatever reason, Zumbrota had the best game film last year. I really like what their guy was doing. He's probably some senior that's never going to do it again, but nice picture. And okay, so if you see anything on this play that makes you, if you can guess why I put it on here, you can say something. But all right, so we're already past the point. We had a pass that could have been backwards, could have been forward. So I'm looking, and the wing on the far side doesn't do anything, but that's okay because supposedly the guy on the other side is supposed to be signaling. And number two, it's close enough that if he thinks it's forward, he doesn't have to signal. You only signal backward passes. So what I did with this play is rather than say, gee, you guys didn't signal, I said, who, did we have the guy, which guy was ruling on it? And, were you ready to rule on it forward or backward? It's more of a question, more of a challenge to the crew. If you're the referee looking at this play, it's like, guys, are we signaling these? So, on the next play here, we've got a hold, apparently, I believe, on the left guard. Now, number 68 is kind of hidden here. Now, I can't see him at all, but I didn't see a hold. I was questioning, what I want holds to really stand out. And so my question for the umpire is basically, did you have a hold and you still love your call? If you do, that's fine, but I show up on film. And holds should show up on film. They should be big. So now what I really like about Zumbrota is that they show the penalty enforcement. So what I didn't like here was watch Tristan. Guys, you white hat should see what he does incorrectly here. What's he doing? He walks into the signal. Okay, now beyond that, okay, now here's the umpire. He's decided he's going to move his flag. If your guy's going to move a flag, he needs to do that before he talks to you. Get moved right away so it doesn't look like you're manipulating things or you're up to something. Okay? So again, get yourself set, Tristan, then make your signal. Okay, this play, there's a fumble on this play, and maybe I missed it, but I didn't see a beanbag. You guys tell me if you see a beanbag. Should have seen one come out somewhere, and it didn't. So on a fumble play, you can have not enough beanbags, or you can have too many. Either way, I want to see one. The covering official appears to be right there. I wouldn't normally, the U maybe not, but the wing here should have had a beanbag out. Okay. Now, on this play, the quarterback rolls out towards the head linesman, and he kind of, as he rolls, he shifts this way. Now, I would think he should either stay where he's at or move back a little bit. He almost puts himself in harm's way. It's like, no, just let yourself see what's going on. Now, the fantastic part is this guy moves a lot better than I ever did. Tristan is kind of the role model for following the quarterback out of bounds. He does a great job at that. But again, the wing he was almost staying even with the play. It seems kind of pity, but these guys are a top-notch crew. You know, don't put yourself where you're getting a little nervous. Right here, he gets a little nervous that he's going to get in the action. If he was back here, he'd be fine, and he'd be all watching, not worrying about himself. And one other thing I'll mention, guys, as we go through these, I've got a lot of plays, but you shouldn't expect you're going to have this many every week. I did it because it's almost like I'm doing it as a evaluation or you know, feedback for the crew. So that's different from what you do on a week-to-week basis. Now here, I don't know what you guys think. I think the U should have pivoted on this pass. Okay, bang, there's the ball. All he does is stare at these guys. The ball's here. Cares, go ahead, hold away. We don't care. Let the referee take care of any shenanigans here. He should have turned to help just in case there was a trap. See, he never turns and looks. Got to pivot. He did most of the game, but not on that one. All right, now here's a case where I don't think there was a foul, but we have a funny looking block. And my question for the crew, whether it's my crew or a crew I'm watching, is, did you see this? Did you talk to the guy? Did you note it in any way? Watch the the pulling left guard number 77. So, you know, it wasn't a big deal, but I noticed him flopping on the guy's legs when he's on the grounds. It looked to me, I wouldn't call that a hold, but he got handsy there. So it wouldn't hurt to talk to that guy. And the question is the umpire still watching him? Did he, denote that block?
Mike, this is Ryan. I can't. All I'm seeing is a bunch of still photos, and I don't know if anybody else is seeing more video. But
everybody else has too.
I can't really see. There's no action. There's just still photo, still photo, still photo. So I can't see really what you're talking about because there's nothing's happening.
Is that what everybody else has too?
Yes.
Yeah, for the most part, it just skips in between. I don't know if everybody else stops their video, if it'll help or not. I know that.
I don't know. I haven't had this problem before.
Let's try it.
Yeah. All right, let me. All right, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I'm
Yes.
hearing myself. Let me leave the meeting here. Let's just try to I will stop sharing here. All right. Darn, I lost the. All right, are you guys seeing film now?
No.
I see all your thumbnails, Mike, on the other computer.
Oh, okay. I'm not sharing right then. All right. Anything now?
Yep, now we got a clip on the screen. But
And it's actually moving?
Yeah, much better. Yes.
Good on my end, no stuttering.
Okay. All right. So basically, you guys didn't see any of these as clips, is that right?
Pretty much. Yep.
Oh man, Jared's gonna have fun with this recording. All right. Well, we'll real quick then. You guys heard this already. Here we go. Who's got the direction for that pass? I apologize, guys. Technical issues. We all deal with it. Play 2. You has a hold on the left guard there, and I didn't see anything that rose to the level of a hold. That doesn't mean he's wrong, but it means, hey, I want to know if you still love that call because, oh, sorry. I want to know if you still love this call. You guys still with me?
Yes.
yep,
Okay.
looks good.
All right, so if you see something that looks like a hold by 68, then fine, but I just didn't see it.
Not for long enough. There looked like he kind of had him hooked a little bit, but
Yeah.
didn't seem like he was slowed down at all, really.
So here we got the penalty enforcement. Now again, the U's already talking to the referee. He's going to move his flag. He should have done that first. Always get the flag where you want it before you talk to the referee. And then Tristan, just get yourself set. Don't signal while you're walking. Okay, clip 4, fumble on the play, no beanbag. I would have expected the linesman here to have a bag for sure. A fumble can, if you have 3-4 bags down, that's too many. But you'd like to think that somebody saw it come out. On this one, this was the one where, hey, slow down a little bit, linesman. Quarterback's going to roll his way. And, he slides down a little quick. I think if he just waited, he'd keep a good view and wouldn't feel. And then Tristan does a great job getting out there to help. A lot faster than I ever was. I know that's shocking, but all right. Here's where the U doesn't pivot. I'd like to see the U pivot there. He's done now. The ball's out. He doesn't need to keep watching to see what they're doing. Let the R take care of it. And I think this was the play we were on, play 7. Left guard it just looks kind of funky. I don't know what he's doing. I just would tell him, hey, you don't need to flop on that guy. He's on the ground. He obviously, it didn't rise to the level of a foul, but don't be doing that stuff. All right, here we got what looks to be an encroachment. You'll see the line judge starts to signal encroachment, but then realizes they both have a flag, so he comes out and they talk to each other. But then so that's the good part. Are you guys able to see the film without seeing this big gray block on it like I do?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it looks fine here.
Good.
Yep.
Good, excellent. Now here's what I don't like. Okay, we got encroachment. The R is going to signal it. Now watch what the umpire does. Yeah, you're free to go. Hello, 5 yards, please. So, not making fun of him, but, that's crew efficiency. That's getting in and out of penalties. Oh, the other side note there is, you guys maybe caught this, was I would ask, I'm not sure why we're having an untimed down here, because that's a dead ball foul. So if the quarter did end on that encroachment, then we're done with that quarter. So I would have to ask Tristan about that. There may have been something unique going on. Play 9 here. We've got the runner spikes the ball after the TD. The back judge needed to see this. He did not, but the line judge did a great job catching it. What the back judge should have done is turned at the goal line to watch the players go to the back of the end zone. So the line judge saved him here, because you got to call that. That's just not allowed in a high school game, or on Saturdays for that matter. Can't let them spike it.
He also had a coach
10.
walking on the field there too.
Yeah. So getting a little loose there. Now here, we've got a fumble, and see if you agree with me. My feeling was that everybody's approach to the pile was kind of casual, and it got kind of wrestly in there with guys pulling and yanking. I just think, get in there, start digging, have a presence, see what they're doing there, and finally we get somebody in. We need to get in a little quicker for those. Get in and start making yourself known. Here's another one where, okay, Tristan, again, a little picky on one. First off, he walks into the signal, and I'm sure after he saw this, after I pestered him on two calls, he probably never did it again. But I also felt his face mask signal, it's kind of over his right shoulder. I always did it in front of my face. What, you guys agree with that? Where do you do it? Watch Tristan, see what you think. I always did it right in front of my face. Like I said, it's a nit maybe, but work on being precise.
I didn't like that signal.
You did not?
I did not like that. I like right under my nose and straight down.
Yep. But that's a good reason to watch yourself on film. And like I said, Zumbrota, it's kind of nice that they actually film extra that most schools do not. Okay, now here's a play I think every crew should talk about and look at. This is a prototype play for crossfield mechanics, and they're not used here. Bang. Okay, we got a catch front of the sticks, right? Now the head linesman, look where he's at. He's in where he's supposed to be, but my goodness, how is he going to know for sure where this ball is? Now the line judge across the way on this side of the field, he's going to have a look, and he should give a crossfield spot, which he probably does. Now here's what actually happens. I'll let you watch it, but the head linesman gets the right spot, but he never even looks for the crossfield spot. So my experience is the off guy is good at recognizing he needs to give a crossfield. The guy on that sideline is not good at looking across to get it. I mean, this is a prototype. He's being pushed back into the head linesman's at him. It's hard to have good depth perception as to where he is. He does get the right spot, but in my opinion, he should have gone cross field. Watch his head. You'll see he never looks up. See, he never looks. He's got a spot, and he's right, but boy, I don't know if you want to make a living that way. Use your cross field guy. That's a good play for every crew to talk about. Because in my experience, Royce, you've been at it a long time. Ryan, Greg, you guys, I don't think we do crossfield mechanics as often as we should. Now here's a case where I feel this pass is backward. Your mileage may vary, but there is no signal from either wing, so they're living and dying with it being forward, I guess. But Royce, you can recall at Carleton how much fun it was when we rule the first one forward, and then they throw a double pass, and they
Right.
had they had every intention of the first one being backward. But see what you guys think. This one, the first one I highlighted at the beginning, I think that's a good one to call forward. This one, based on where the quarterback's feet are, and I think this was backward. Sorry for all the extra time here. I'm not sure when to start the play, but
No, it looks like they had the tee on the field.
that was it. But did you see that? I mean, if this guy had pulled up and thrown a pass downfield, I don't know what you would have done. But anyway, it's a good thing for a crew to talk about. When are we going to rule it backward? Because when in doubt, it's forward. I do agree with that. It's just, you guys have any thoughts on that one? Did it look like it might be backward?
It looked backward to me from that
Yeah,
angle.
this is Royce. I would have called that backward. I mean, the quarterback's in front of the line. The guy catches it behind the line. So, it's.
That's what helped actually for me on that one was the fact that there was a big line there. Play 14. To me, we're going to have a run down this way. Now, to me, the U should kind of pivot and watch the runners, the players trailing, but instead he kind of keeps focusing this way. And the deep trailers, that should be the referee watching those guys. Watch and see what you think. Watch the umpire's head, which way he's looking as the runner goes by him. See, he's too deep. He's you know, right here. He's he's watching these guys. He should be watching these guys, right? He should be pivoting just a little more. So don't, you know, I guess my tip for the umpire would be is if you're staying on your keys too long, I mean, it's guard, center guard, but at some point you do shift your gaze. Here's another offensive, I think it's a hold call, but, or in fact, I know it had to be because the follow-on signal was a hold, but it's like, well, where was the hold? I don't know. I'm not necessarily saying he's wrong, but, you know, Royce can confirm when it comes to non-safety fouls, holds, blocks in the back, I always wanted those to show up good on film. Coaches hate phantom calls. This wasn't necessarily a phantom, but don't be afraid to challenge your guys and say, do you still love that call? You know, I mean, what category was it in? What did he do? And don't be afraid to do that. If they stand by it, okay, good. But you've planted the seed that, you know, we want those calls to be big. We want them to be there. Let's see the next play here. Two positioning things here. The head linesman should hold to help with the quarterback location when he passes. The quarterback's going to roll out and throw pretty close to the line. The U is on the line and does a nice job looking down to try to help, but he'll have players in between him and the QB. And again, a completely unrelated mechanic, the back judge lets the players beat him. You'll see he's kind of on the goal line trying to judge what's happening near the end line. And if there'd been a toe tapper back there, he would have been in trouble. So let's watch it play out. So watch the head linesman, in my opinion, drift too much, and then the back judge not get deep. See now again, was that a big drift? No, not at all. But what I'm getting at is, don't move because you're solid here. You're really going to help with because you're the referee. You have no idea. You're counting on him. Look where the umpire is. He's looking through about 3 bodies. So the umpire's in perfect position, but don't move. Stay solid. Officiate. There was no reason for him to move at all. Just hold on there, and you'll be in perfect spot to tell the referee, yep, we were good. And then you'll see the back judge do the old, whoops. And he's going, oh my gosh, I'm lucky. All right, clip 17. Don't worry, guys, we have 21, so we're not even going to go overtime here, even with all the technical issues. The head linesman has an offensive hold downfield on this one. I just didn't see it, and my notes on the play when I did it in huddle were, you know, do you need a crew calibration? You know, make sure that, you know, you guys as a crew are using good judgment on these non-safety fouls. So let's see, it's head linesman. I think, yeah, the run goes his way, and he throws a flag out, and I looked and looked and looked and couldn't find it. So again, I just challenge him and say, what did you have? I guess it had to be on 2 because he's looking like he's complaining. I don't know. Let's watch 2 here.
He kind of grabs his right arm a little bit. It's the only thing I can think of right there.
Yeah.
See, but when you got to rerun it 20 times, that's...
Yeah.
I would suggest keeping. My best guess is if he had it on 2, he would have been better off leaving it go. But maybe it wasn't 2. But you asked the question, right? And each guy should remember what his fouls were, who they were on, and they shouldn't be that hard to find. Line judge, I think this is a really good DPI call. Subtle, but a good call. See what you guys think. Right there. See how he knocked him off? I thought that was a really nice call. Just enough. See? You guys agree with that?
Yes, and he's not making a play on the ball at all there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, the receivers buy him already too, so that can be that's intentional contact.
Yep. I thought that was a nice call. Now here's the play of the game, guys. I honestly don't have all the answers for this one, but the snaps at the 10. We should probably talk about this one a little bit. And there is one scary-ass pylon play that the line judge makes a call on from about the 8-yard line. Now, this is obviously where if you're in a 6 or 7-man crew, the pylons are well covered, but I'll just let it roll, and you guys can see how scary it is, and I'll comment on it after we watch it roll. But this is a good one, I think, for any crew to talk about. Coming this way. You like making that call from the 6? So, what did you guys think?
He had him out, I think, right? He didn't look like he
Right.
made it, but shouldn't he be
The
getting
question
way
is-
closer to the goal
The
line?
question is, do you as an individual, the line judge, and as a referee, do you want this to make a living this way?
No, I don't. I want him farther ahead than that. You gotta look back.
Here were my thoughts on the play. Now, this is how we kind of used to do it, is when you're on like the 10, at the snap, kind of slide. Well, here we've got line to gain was like a yard, right? But once he recognized this guy was coming out, I would have slid to the 5, and then when he kept going, gone into the pylon. So right about here, if he was already on the 5, he could start to move ahead, because this is when you want to be ahead. My other thought was the back judge just officiates air here. Not saying he could or make the call, but do you think it would be valid for him to run like into the end zone a little to at least try to get an eye on it? You know, you can see he's. So, you know, to me, at least be, first off, wider. And then if you could at least be like at the 3 or, you know, just if you can't get ahead of it. But again, look where the back judge is. He's officiating error back here. We could use his help if he came up just a little bit. He's not going to have anything to judge on the end line on this play. He can come up and at least be able to say, have an opinion if he's asked. He may as well help if he can. And real nice job here with a tough play as far as making the call, showing a lot of confidence, probably the correct call. I just have to wonder, if I'm a wing, do I want to make a living calling this play this way? What do you guys think?
No, I don't think so, Mike. I think you're right. I think the biggest thing for this, you know, for all of us and helping our crews would be, you know, that pre-snap routine. And like you said, I think what probably happened is in the last couple of years, you know, they really started, well, we changed a few things in Minnesota, obviously, you know, stick at the line, don't go downfield. And then, like you said, the line to gain is threatened, and that's big. It's 3rd and 1. But if you only get 1 or 2 things in your head, you don't think of the other things beyond that. So he might have been looking at, okay, I just need to make sure I cover the line to gain, or I'm at the 10.5. I'm at the 10.5, so I don't need to go to the 5, you know, and you don't want to get yourself locked into that kind of stuff. But like you said, I think he did the best he could once he got behind the play. You know, once it was too late for him to get ahead of it, you know, he did as well as he could.
Yeah. So I think for any one of us, if this play happened in our game, we'd want to highlight that following week and have a good discussion about it as a crew. You know, are we handling these right? Do we want to change anything? Maybe talk to the line of scrimmage gurus in the group. Stilo, I think, runs that. And, you know, it's just a fantastic play to look at. And they do a great job of, you know, there's no indication there that, oh, my God, this was a tough call. He just handles it very confidently. But like I said, I don't think we want to make a living doing that. All right, 2 plays to go here. This is a real small thing, but again, sometimes you're looking for small things. And I only noticed it because it looked kind of clumsy. There is a score here, and the line judge kind of runs in and sort of has to go over the pylon, and I just don't think you really need to crash on this particular play. I'll let it play out, but not everything you see is going to be a big thing. It's more like, you know, how can we look smoother? How can we look more crisp, more smooth, like I said. So bang, pretty obvious touchdown. I don't think he needed to run in. Just stay at the pylon. Maybe I'm not right about that, but that's not a crasher. To me, a crasher is when it's run up the middle and it's in a big pile and you got to sort through where the ball is. Okay, so my comment here again was an offensive hold was called on a big kickoff return. It's a 4-point ball game, 3-point ball game with under a minute. I didn't see a hold, but on a kickoff, players are spread to hell and gone. So who knows? I just would tell my guys that it really better have been there. I hope it was a huge one, but you can't pick it out on film. But their feeling is Stewartville has a pretty. I think it's Stewartville that's No, it couldn't be. This is Umbrota. I don't know who that is.
Pine Island.
Pine Island. Pine Island has a nice return here, and it's called back. So, that one would, I know when I was on the field, I would have had a little lurch in my heart on that one, like, please be there. But, I could go back and forth for a week, and, we're not going to see it at the same, the angle that they saw. So I just think in a game where I saw 3 or 4 holds and I couldn't see any one of them, it's like, I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them be bigger. As a crew, we're going to have fouls we got to call. The line fouls, the formation fouls, those are fouls that make us look silly if we don't catch them. You got to get the safety fouls. So the fouls where you have some flexibility are these non-safety action fouls, and that mostly is holds and blocks in the back. And by blocks in the back, I'm not talking about something that rises to the level of a personal foul. I mean these subtle things. Make sure they're there. And make sure as a crew that you guys are looking to get them when they're big and not looking for trouble. Look for trouble between plays, the pushing, the shoving, the talking to each other. But don't look for trouble during the play. Let the trouble come to you. You'll see it. It stands out. It's a takedown. Got to get it, bang. It's a hold, it's a hold, it's a hold. Make sure your guys are thinking along those lines. So my intention here was not to show everybody, number one, as we all know, Tristan's crew is one of the most highly thought of crews in our association. I mean, we're all pretty good, but you know, they're highly thought of. They do a great job. They're very confident. They, for the most part, run a smooth game, and I was still able to find 21 plays to nag on them. You know, I was not doing that to pick, just to sort of get the thought process going. Now, I don't know, Greg, Ryan, I know Royce, you look at all the film. Who else is on here? Brian, you guys look at film every week. My goal here is really to have you not make the same mistakes I did when I first started looking at film, because all I cared about was, by God, I don't want anything that the coach is going to say we did wrong, so I just want to validate that we got everything right. And we really weren't learning anything from it. And then I went through a long period where, oh, did we miss a hold? Did we miss a hold? Did we miss a hold? Well, you know, that's not helpful. It's not teaching anybody anything. Your goal is for people to learn from it, not to have it be painful. And I know we all do a pretty good job of, you know, reviewing film when we review it. And if you individually aren't into it that much, or you don't have the time, somebody on your crew will. Now, Ryan, I don't know if you look at film, but just listening to Joel Olson in the umpire meetings, he sure seems like a guy that's into watching film, and you know, he might be, you know,
He does a lot on our crew. I do a good portion of it and have for several years, and in the last couple he's volunteered to do quite a bit more, which is appreciated.
Right.
But I still go and watch it almost every time.
Yep.
All of them.
Yeah. On our college crew, my last couple of years, our umpire always had gone through it by Sunday night and sent me plays, and then I would incorporate them into my review. And you know, this is not a one person thing. Greg, do you have somebody do you guys watch as much film as you'd like, or?
Yeah, Darren and Ben did a lot too. Darren and Ben do a lot, but I lost Ben, so
Yeah, but
we'll have to step that up.
Yeah, you know what I hope you know, we had your crew wasn't one of them, but we had a couple crews that didn't even get a lot of huddle films. And some of that is the school, but some of it is just not pressing them to do it, because they will forget if you don't tell them. So don't be afraid to send a follow-up email and, hey, Coach, thanks for the opportunity to work your game Friday night. Just still wondering if you can share that film with Minnesota Metro and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know how, you know, with the film available, to not at least take a look, you're not doing yourself as a big favor there. If I could wave a wand and get everybody to do one thing, it'd be to get everybody to, every time they get a film, at least look at it. You don't have to come up. I came up with 21 plays. Well, that's ridiculous, but that's because I'm doing it as a one-time semi-evaluate, not an evaluation, but, you know, looking at it differently than if I, you know, Royce, we usually had between 10 and 20, didn't we? In the teens somewhere. I hope I was regular sending out 30 plays.
Yeah, and then, you know, we have 2 extra officials too, so there's you know, other positions to look at. So yeah, and I mean, the other thing that we've done sometimes is, you know, just that maybe somebody watches a quarter or a half. You know, you don't have to watch the whole thing, or like you said, Mike, if you know some of the plays you need to look at, and that's what really helps us is Hobbs being our back judge and doing the penalty report through the game. The first thing he does is go through the film and find where the penalties are, because every one of them has a time and a quarter. And then
Right.
all of the times that I have on my card, like, what happened on this play, or, look for this roughing the passer potential or whatever, I've got a time and a quarter on that. So I know where it fits in. So sometimes, if I don't have as much time that week, I'm only looking at certain things for either mechanics or maybe plays, and I can just go to those 4 or 5 spots and find them.
Yep, and I did the same thing when you're trying to, work, be a crew chief for 2 crews, Friday and Saturday. You can run out of time. That's why we can't be afraid to look for help, and I can almost guarantee that on every crew out of the 5, there's going to be somebody else besides you that's pretty good at looking at film. So I guess that's about it. Any other finishing thoughts on film and film review? I hope.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Brian. You had broke down our Leroy game last year, and can you just talk a minute about? Remember, we had that shot block that my umpire missed, and we had talked a little bit in our offline about should I help on that or not? But how do you broach subjects with crewmates, or what did you find effective for talking to them about obvious calls that you got to get?
Yeah, I think the umpire, and it was a chop by the center and guard, if I remember right. So they were his keys. And in a 9-man game, there aren't a lot of distractions to look at. So not a lot of, and your umpire is a stand-up guy, so he wasn't going to make excuses. I think about all you can do is say, whatever. Ask, what you want to find out is, were you not looking at it, or did you look at it and not recognize it as a foul? Because that's 2 different problems, right? Not looking at it, that's simple. Just keep your eyeballs on those 3 guys right after the snap. Chop blocks happen fast. They happen right at the snap usually. But if he says, well, then, okay, now we got something you need to get a little training on. What do you look for? Why didn't you recognize it as a chop? What do you need? Talk to other umpires, or talk to somebody that can. So the first thing to do is say, this really looks like a chop block, and I think we want to get these. It's a dangerous foul. So did you not recognize it as a chop, or did you not see it? That's how I would start. And it isn't just you guys. We had a back judge that did the thing where you miss a late hit around the pile because you're watching the ball, and I just said, here comes a guy. He's running at a different angle and different speed. He's carrying a brick. We need to see this, and this happens because we're looking too much at the runner in the pile. We actually look right through it. So that's not a rip. That's not chastising somebody. That's just saying, let your eyes pull back and watch what's happening around the pile. The pile will take care of itself. We've got other eyes on the pile. So what you don't want to do, your guys need to be coachable. You're not yelling at them when you tell them this stuff. You're trying to help them be better, and you're trying to help the crew be better. You want your crew to catch chop blocks. You want your crew to catch late hits at the pile. So, guys, step 1, and you can talk about this at the preseason meeting. We're going to do film review, and the purpose of it, like Jason Nickleby always says, it's not to embarrass anybody. It's to learn. You as a stand-up guy, he doesn't want to miss a chop block again. So make sure that he knows why he missed it. He can fix it, and he won't miss the next one. So, it's all about getting better. I'll finish with this. I used to listen to Larry Friedman sometimes. You guys don't know him, but believe me, when he evaluates your crew in college, you're on the phone like an hour and a half. And I just wrote everything down he said. And, they care because they tell you all that stuff. Anybody can tell you, oh, you guys did a good job. I don't got nothing for you. Well, you didn't work very hard then trying to help us out, did you? You know, Larry, he spends an hour and a half on the phone with you. That's an hour and a half of his time on a Sunday night. He's not doing that to be a jerk. He wants you to be better. So take it that way yourself when you hear it from somebody else. And when you're talking through things as a crew, it's not, as soon as somebody starts getting defensive, take them aside when you have a minute and say, hey, look, you know, this is about us getting better. You know, we all need to be coachable. We all have room to improve. So please, you know, accept it in the, you know, in the spirit it's being given. You know, we're not yelling at each other when we do film review. We're working together to put a better product on the field. So, anything else, guys? I got 8 bells here, and I super apologize for all the technical glitches. There was something wrong with my wireless here, and I just couldn't straighten it out. I'm glad you guys got to see the actual film, though.
No worries, Mike. It worked out.
Yeah, looked fine. We got it figured out, and we're still done on time.
Right.
Appreciate
All
you
right.
doing
Well,
this, Mike.
again,
Thanks, Mike.
Yes, thanks, Mike.
yep, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Send me an email if there's something you want to talk about.
All right, take care.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Have a good evening,
Sounds
guys.
good. Thanks, guys.
See y'all.